Hi there, everybody. From an improvised studio, as you can tell, in a hotel room in the south of the Netherlands. Welcome to season 3, episode 5 of Poca TV Live. I have a very lovely guest today, and I'm going to introduce her to you in just a short while. Her name is LESTARI Scholtes. Strap in, sit ready, here we go.
Give me this. Give me that. Give me this. Give me that.
So, hi again, everybody. It's so good of you to be here today. Welcome to this fifth episode in this third season of Poca TV Live, that program in which I talk to my fabulous friends across the world and share with you the wonderful stuff that they do. My name is Poca, which stands for People of Common Attitude, but many people know me by my proper name, being Aldit Hunkar. As I was telling you, I'm at work in the south of the Netherlands right now, and I'm here for a couple of days. So I'm in a hotel room, which is why you see this drab background here. I did what I could. And this is an immediate disclaimer. If for any reason this program freezes up, it's not my fault. We'll blame the hotel and the Wi-Fi, all right? And if it's really bad, then I will do a reprise of this program. But so far, so good, it would seem. Let me take you through what we normally do. As I was telling you, my very special guest today is LESTARI Scholtes. She's a global performer. She's a classical pianist. She really travels the world. She has so much to tell us. And I've known her for a good number of years. And then we kind of didn't talk anymore for a couple of years. So there's a lot I need to catch up on with her. I've been following her career and it's only gone up is what I know. And that's all I want to talk to her about. And maybe, she'll come up with a couple of things that you and I can benefit from in life. Those of us who love music, but don't particularly know how to play it as well as she does. Maybe she can tell us a thing or two about what it does for her and how it affects her life. That's all going to come. In the meantime, remember to follow Poca TV on YouTube and on Facebook, and of course, like this video if you actually do like it. Send us some comments if you are online. I'm seeing quite a few people online. Whether you're watching on LinkedIn or on YouTube or on Facebook, you can send comments, which I will hopefully see here in my studio, and we can talk about the questions you have for LESTARI. So do all of that. That would be wonderful. Let's see. You know that I always start the program with a little shout out to my youngest sister, Aisha. Aisha, who is no longer with us. In fact, she left this earth more than 12 years ago. And yes, I'm right. This past Sunday would have been her 55th Earth Day, but she never made it to 43. So people who know this program and who know me know that I do anything I can to keep Aisha with us so that her wisdom can be spread all across the globe. The whole family, part of the family came together and we all went to the tree that we planted in memory of Aisha. And that is how we spent her 55th Earth Day. And I'm sure up there in the great assembly in the skies, where she is now with many people that I know and love, I'm sure there was a huge celebration just to mark that 55th. So wherever she is now, she is never forgotten. Aisha, my lovely sister. Next up, let me welcome all the people watching, whether it is live. Hi, people, you're live. Let me know who you are and where you're watching from. And people who are watching the rerun, well, you can't tell me where you're watching from, but it would still be nice if you just give a thumbs up to this video and tell us what you think about it. and people totally new. Might be that some of Lestari's friends are watching. Welcome to you. And who knows, you might stick around to watch more of the programs I do on Poca TV. That is all the normal stuff done. It's high time to introduce the guest to you. She hails as myself from the Netherlands, but as I told you, she's a global performer, so she's all over the place. Please welcome her and let's have a good chat with Lestari Scholtes. Lestari,
Hi. Hi,
how are
Aldit.
you?
I'm
Welcome to
doing.
the program.
Thank you so much. Hi. Good to see you again, Aldit.
It is good to see you, Lestari. It's been years since we last spoke in person.
That's true.
And I'm going to take you back to the beginning of your life, but there's going to be a point where we will tell people how we know each other, because
Yes,
actually that's quite a funny story.
it is.
Um, but before we do all of that, there's always this part in the program where I share with my guest a clip from the last Poca TV live. And that was in June because I was on a holiday. I mean, give me a break. I can go on a holiday if I want to. So my last guest was at the end of June, and that was Nina Jurna. Do you know who Nina is?
I do. Yes.
You do.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. I also I watched a bit of the episode you did with her.
oh,
Yeah.
good,
Very
good.
interesting. Yeah.
Very interesting because she and I are so much alike in so many things. She loves traveling. We both love the Caribbean, and we both had a program going on television in the Netherlands in summer. So I asked her to be my guest so that people would stop bothering us about which program is better and are you jealous of her, and we
Yeah.
did we so here's a clip, and I thought it might resonate with you for some reason, but correct me if I'm wrong. Let's watch it together.
Yes.
They thought, well, we are going to adopt children. So
Children.
yes, because I have two. I have a brother and a sister who were adopted after me, and they came from South Korea. So we were
Wow.
like a family, if well, like a rainbow family. And when people saw us, they were like, "Oh, nice, a family, white people, me, and the Asians, Asian two children from Asia." But for me, it was very confusing because I didn't see myself either in the
Right.
city and also not in the village I grew up with, because in the village I grew up, it was a typical farmer village. Almost everybody was a farmer.
Mhm.
Children in my classroom, they were family of each other. Um, so I really felt like an outsider.
So I guess I want to ask you, Lestari, because both you and I are not the typical Dutch blonde, blue-eyed person. We are very Dutch, but we don't look like what people call Dutch. I wonder if you've ever had this feeling that Nina describes of looking for, not really recognizing yourself in society.
That's a good question, actually. I think I did. I mean, now I live in Amsterdam for many years, and it's so multicultural here. And like my husband, he's from Brazil and Bolivia, and we have a son together who's like really mixed. And also, like in the musical world, it's so diverse and intercultural. So it feels very much like home for me, because I see myself as a Dutch person. Yes, because I was born here, I grew up here. My mother, she's from Indonesia, so I also have a connection with that country. With my cousins from there, I'm
Mhm.
gonna see them tomorrow.
Oh, good.
Um, and I think especially when I grew up in the south of Holland, I know now that I had the feeling sometimes I wasn't completely um, at my place or something,
Hmm.
because we were one of the few people that were not like completely Dutch. And people made jokes about it in my classroom, like, I don't know, about Chinese recipes or something like this. And then
Right,
it was funny, but now I think, okay, it actually shouldn't have been like this.
right.
So I kind of relate to it a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But did it ever make you feel like an outsider, like you didn't belong, like they didn't want you to belong?
No.
No.
Not where I grew up. Everybody was really nice. I never had the feeling. I think also because of the music, and it made me really connect to other people, like my musical friends. Already when I was a young girl,
Mhm.
that I didn't really feel like this.
Oh, great.
I'm actually more sensitive to it now because I have a son who is,
Ah,
of course, he's Dutch, but he has like
he's
blood
got all.
from all over the world.
Yeah.
So I am aware of it, that he will not be seen as a white person.
Mhm. Mhm.
So thinking of him going to elementary school in 1 year, um, visiting like daycares where sometimes it's a complete mixture and sometimes it's completely white, it really makes me think of this.
Mhm.
And I didn't have it before, maybe because I never felt left out or something.
I understand. Well, we're going to talk about everything you just said. We're going to be talking about where you were born, where you grew up, how you got into music, your Indonesian background, your husband, your son. It's all going to come by in this hour or so, hour and a half or so. Before we do that, I see there's a comment come in already. Let's see who's there. Ah, you're going to tell me who F.H. Scholtes is. That's a relative of yours.
Yes, that's my dad.
Oh, hi
Yeah.
there.
Well, I think it's both my parents because it's Frans, and F, and H is Heidi, which is my mother. So I think
Exactly.
they're tuning in. Yeah.
Well, welcome both of you. Wonderful of you to join the program, and thank you for sending a comment. And please continue to do so because you're going to be in this program. We're going to be talking about the two of you as well. So please continue sending us these comments. Wonderful to have them with us. Let's dive into it, Lestari. The youngest picture I have of you, because you send me pictures, is this one.
Yes.
Tell us about this time.
I think it was my first birthday. I think my parents got me this very cute stroller, which I played a lot with, and I chose this picture also because it gives me a very warm feeling from back in my youth,
Mm,
and also because my son, he looks almost exactly like me when I was a baby.
really?
So yeah, so it's really 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 nice to see this, and uh,
And that's
to,
your mom, obviously.
that's my mother, of
I,
course.
I think
Yes,
I think I met your parents at some point, didn't I?
I think so. I
I think
think you,
so.
yeah, you met them. I think at the festival that we're gonna talk about later when we
Exactly,
met. Yeah.
exactly. So where was this? Can you put a name on the town or the village where you were born?
Well, yes, it was in Nijmegen, which is in Gelderland.
Yes, in the east
I
of
was
the Netherlands.
yes, I was born there because my dad, he was still studying then
Mm.
at the university. I have no memories of it because after my first birthday, we moved to the south of the Netherlands.
And where
So
was that?
which was Oosterhout near
Right.
Breda,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I spent like the first. I mean, after my first birthday, like 18 years of my life. Yeah.
So that's where you grew up. That's what
That's
that's your youth, so to
yes,
speak. Yeah.
yes,
And
definitely.
right. I know there's a brother. I think that must be him.
That's true. Yes, he has a very nice haircut here.
He does. Yes, he's very striking, as are you, by the way. So
Thank you.
so tell us about this. That's obviously some birthday of yours.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, this was, I think, together with friends of us from also from the south of the Netherlands. My
Mm.
brother, he also studied piano as I did. I mean, he's doing something completely different now.
Right.
But we went to this summer school for young gifted children. I was too young. But he went there, and I just went with him with my mother to watch,
And you
and
were
then
so gifted they kept you there, I think.
well, and actually, I think I played also there for the teachers. Yes, I
Right.
remember something about this.
So how
Um,
old were you when you did that?
I think this was about like 7, 8 years, something. I think I was maybe 8 years, and my
And
brother.
you did some kind of audition at that age? That's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I started playing the piano at 7. I mean, it was allowed at the time to go to the music school at 7, but I wanted
Hmm.
to go way before. So my brother already played the piano, and I was really inspired by him. So I took his little music books from the closet, and I tried to read notes myself. So I could, I could play a little bit before I went to the music school.
Yeah.
And then my parents said, okay, you can choose between violin or
Or
piano. What do you
piano.
prefer? And then, of course, because my big brother was playing the piano, I also wanted to do that. Yeah.
Right. And this is proof of that. This is you, age 7. Look at you, how cute you are. And can you see what music you're playing there?
I think this was something like there's this children's book with not very easy studies.
No, I can tell it's not
Um,
easy.
I think, oh no, I think this is Mozart actually, who is
Yeah,
nowadays still my favorite composer.
really.
So
Yes.
I remember when I was like 8 or years old, maybe 9, I could play my first Mozart like easy sonata, and I
Yeah.
really felt like, okay, I'm a real pianist. And,
You
yeah.
definitely are, because let me tell you something you might not know about me. At that age, I used to play piano, Lestari.
Ah, wow.
And
Yeah, nice.
I definitely wasn't as oh, where are you? Oh, you're back here. Sorry, I think I threw you out. No, there you are. um I definitely wasn't as talented as you, but I wasn't bad at it. And at some point they said maybe send her to children's conservatory, but then my parents
Wow.
went traveling, so that didn't go on. But I can relate to that at age 7 or 8 or 9, being kind of focused on playing and on practicing and on doing whatever you have to do to learn how to play Mozart, right?
Yeah, the thing is, when you're so young and you're starting to play the piano and you have a good teacher, you learn really fast, because this is just what happens when you're young. It's with everything. It's with languages, it's with math, it's with also with piano.
Mm,
So the progress was going quite fast. So in the beginning you could play like one song, and then you could play a little piece by Bach and then Mozart, and so it's getting more interesting very fast.
exactly. And were you very ambitious at that age? Did you think, yeah, I know this tune. Let's go on with the next one.
I did see a future in music, but I also wanted to be a ballerina, because I was also doing ballet a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but I could see myself like on the big concert stage. I
At
had
that
dreams
age,
about
you
it.
knew that's going to be who I'm going to
Yeah.
be. Wow.
Yes, I think so. But it's also because my parents used to listen to like old recordings of my heroes now, like Vladimir Horowitz and Arthur Rubinstein. And for me, it was very natural to just listen to these recordings. I think
Hmm.
it's not for most children. So I was blessed with this gift from my parents. And I remember really well when Vladimir Horowitz, he died when I think I was 5 or 6 years old.
Hmm.
And it was really, it made a big impression on me. Like this master pianist, he's not longer with us.
Wow.
And I really started to think about what it's like to be a musician at
Hmm.
that age. So it's yeah.
And what did you think it would be like to be a musician when you were that young?
I would dream of traveling and playing the most beautiful music. That's practically it. Yeah,
Wearing really pretty dresses,
of
Lestari.
course,
You
of
always look
course.
fantastic. Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, the dresses are a big part of it as well. Yeah.
Maybe that's the reason I didn't go on with it. I'm not much for long dresses and all of that, and the high heels that go with them. But they look fabulous on you. A little quick look in the comment section again. I know that Elena is watching. How are you, Elena? Thank you for watching this program again. And here is my great, great, great friend DJ Conscious saying, "Welcome to Lestari." And
Thank you so much.
the reason he says welcome is because he was the very first guest I'd had on this program. So
Wow.
he,
Yeah.
of course, feels like it's a little bit his program as well. Yes, you're okay, DJ. You're good with that. So bless up yourself. So let's move on with the. Let me check where we are. Yeah, let's move on with the pictures because this is we're taking a big jump in time because there's only so much we can tell about your life without getting into the real nitty gritty. This is when you and I met.
Yes, yes.
And this was we met year after year. I think I did it 6 or 7 times, and you were always there. This was the opening of the Dutch cultural season, and the Prince Bernhard Culture Foundation, let's call it that in English, had this a tent on in the center of Amsterdam on a huge what do you call that, a square.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Museum Square. Yeah,
museum square where
yeah,
where the big museums
yeah.
are, and where other cultural organizations also presented their new cultural program for the year. And that's where I used to present that tent for the Prince Bernhard people, and you were there together with Willem Janssens. You were there every year. That's how we met, because I
Yes,
used to announce the two of you, and we got to chatting, and that's how we got it rolling.
good
What do you
memories.
remember from those days?
Oh, it was always a lot of fun. I was always looking forward to see you again because it was always we had such a good connection, and it felt really like very warm on stage, which is very important for musicians, to feel comfortable. And
Yes.
so I was always looking forward to this day, and to be with you on stage, of course, and then also to share music with people that are interested in
Exactly.
classical music. So it was always a lot of fun, and we almost always had the pleasure of having sun, and yeah, it feels really like a festival vibe.
That's exactly
Yeah,
what it felt like. And
yeah,
we used to do the same program a couple of times during the day, so new people could come in. And
yeah.
so, did you ever get tired of performing there? I know I
No,
did. No,
no, never,
no,
because how many times you play a certain piece, it's always different.
it
Because
is.
it depends on who is in the audience. It depends on the energy.
Yeah,
So no, it's always a pleasure to perform, especially
right.
also on this stage. Yeah.
Exactly. And you were there always together with, like I was saying, Willem Janssens as a
Yes.
piano duo. So
Yes.
you
Yeah.
played quatre mains, four hands, on one
Yes.
piano or on two pianos, right?
True. Yes, very true. Yeah. I mean, he has been my piano duo partner now for 20 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a long. We started playing together when we were teenagers. And yeah, we really have been through a lot together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we have traveled the world together. We have had like big highs and sometimes a down. I mean, it's how it goes.
exactly.
And we are great friends as well.
Good, good,
Um,
good. Well, let's show people how that looks. The two of you on two pianos in this case, piano duo, and this was live on Dutch television. I don't know when, and we don't really care, but it's beautiful. Here we go. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Mozart, you were telling me
Mozart.
you
Yeah.
still love Mozart, and
Yeah.
there's no reason not to love Mozart, really. Anybody who says I don't like Mozart, well, we can just chuck them in the bin, can't we? Because what do they know anyway? I remember another thing that we did together that was really, really, really fun. It was
Yes.
very early on a Sunday morning, and it was a very cold Sunday morning. But we found ourselves, I believe it was in an old church, wasn't it,
It
Lesari?
was in an old church, a cloister. I don't know if it's the same in England.
A cloister, yes, where
Cloister,
nuns
yes.
used to live, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And we found ourselves in a room of little children. Let me tell everybody what they're looking at. On the left picture, circled in orange, you see Lestari. Circled in green is Gwilym, and the yellow finger is pointing at me, which you also see on the right-hand picture. And in the bottom, you see all the children there. What were we doing there, Lestari? It was so
Yeah.
much fun.
This was really, these are really good memories. We were playing in a children's concert. We played Carnival of the Animals by Camille and Sons, and
Right?
you were the storyteller. Like yes, you
That
were
was
telling.
so great.
Yeah, it was really great. Yeah.
So you had this orchestra, and you were playing the music, and then here and there I told the story about those lions
the
and the giraffes and
animal.
all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And you gave me a great big book to read from.
Yes.
I remember
yes.
that.
Yes, it was actually called Aldit and the Great Book of Animals, something like this. That's how we
right.
called
That's
the
right.
performance. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. If ever you come up with an idea like that, give me a call.
I will call you definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. So this is how we know each other, and we're going to continue talking about your wonderful your travels and your great successes in life. But Lestari, there's a segment in this program that most of my guests really don't like. It is called
On the Spot. 5 quick questions to...
Yeah, on the spot, 5 quick questions to LESTARI SCHOLTES in this case. And this is the part where I fire 5 questions at you and I give you the answers. And you need to choose from those answers.
All
I know,
right.
but that's what we're going to do. All right. Are you ready for this?
I am ready. Yes.
Okay. And it needs to be quick, right, LESTARI? We have no time.
Yes.
So
keep it.
I think you already answered this one. Mozart or Rachmaninoff?
Mozart.
Good. At the end, you get the chance to elaborate a little bit more on maybe 1 or 2 of them, okay? Number 2, motherhood or career?
Oh, motherhood.
Oh, what are you saying? Number 3 is musicians can never be successful unless they have more tricks up their sleeves. Yes or no?
No.
No? Okay. Number 4, the world underestimates the power of music. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. And the final question, what is the one thing, LESTARI SCHOLTES, that you would never, ever, ever do again?
Actually put my career in front before my child.
You did that and it didn't work out. Is that what you're saying?
No, and I can elaborate on this one.
Go ahead, elaborate.
Yes, because I'm not talking about my career as a pianist. I'm also into festival programming, stuff like this. So I had a time, like 4 years, I was the main programmer of the Grachten Festival, which is the biggest classical music festival here in the Netherlands. And that was very tough. That was a very tough job to do. And then I got pregnant, I got my son, and I had my career as a musician. And so I didn't get to see my son enough. So I quit that job. So I think I missed a lot of his first year because of this combination. So now it's for me much better because the thing I love most is being a mother and being a musician. And then next to it, okay, some programming, but not too much. So this is also why I chose motherhood above career. I mean, for me, career, it's for me, being a musician is also a lifestyle. I mean, it's also a job and a career, but it's so much part of me that
of who you are.
Yes.
Yeah. There was one that surprised me. No, actually didn't surprise me because you said the world underestimates the power of music. What did you mean by that? I'm talking the power of music. What?
Yes. I mean, I think music plays such a big role in everyone's life, even also for people that do not really are acknowledging it or are really aware of it. I think, especially like, for example, in times of Corona, people really understood the importance of culture more than ever, because they were missing out so much. And music it's in television programs, it's everywhere, it's on the street, and it connects people. And imagine a life without it, and I think
I
it would be
couldn't.
so empty. And I
No, I
think
couldn't.
no, and I think many people that are not aware of that. I mean, they hear music all day, but they're not aware of the importance of it.
Ah,
So
so this soundtrack of our lives, if it wasn't there, would we be different people? Do you think?
yes, definitely. Yeah,
What?
because I think, like, even scientifically, it has been proven that music has a huge impact on to be not depressed, for example,
Right?
or to have you can have less pain, or you have uh, better feelings connected to your emotions, or like it's really a big part of who people are.
Mm.
So
I actually once read a whole report that stated that people who make music, and especially classical music, their brain grows faster, or it's more
true.
developed. How
Yes.
does that work, according to you?
Well, I'm not a neuroscientist, but I have read about it, and I have experienced also a lot. And my dad, actually, he's a neurologist, so he knows a lot about it.
He knows.
Um,
Let us know, Mr. Scholtes. Is it true what we both say, that your brain is sharper, more active, even grows when you make music? Let's see if he's here. I'm waiting for you, Mr. Scholtes, to answer this question because it's your field of work.
yeah, he
Yeah.
knows really a lot about it, because he also loves classical music. And but I know that music, especially classical music, has
Yes.
a effect on all parts of our brains. I mean, we have,
Exactly.
of course, the part where we have emotions, or the part where is our more physical, like the motorics of our fingers, or connections between brain halves.
Hmm.
So each separate part of our brains if you connect it to music, it's stimulated by it
Right.
for the
Right.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and I know that even it's a funny research that they have done in California with Mozart, with the piece that we were just listening to, the Sonata for Two Pianos.
Mm.
When you listen to it for 30 minutes, your IQ raises by 9 points for 30 minutes, and then it drops down again. But they have proven it, that it really has this effect on your brain.
Lestari, what this world needs is for that
It's for
duet to be
Mozart.
played all the
Yeah.
time.
People can call me. We know the piece. So if they want to make an invention,
Yeah.
call us.
We just put it on a
Yeah.
loop. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. So we're still waiting for your dad's answer, which will come in time. But let's move on from here. I think we totally agree on the power of music. Um, and like I was saying, at some point, you and I stopped doing the thing that we used to do every year because, you had stuff to do. I had stuff to do. And they also wanted something new for a change, which we will always understand. But that's according to what from the mailings that you send and from the stuff that I read about you. That's when you really took off, isn't it? Internationally. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. Yes, that's when especially with my piano duo with Willem, we started traveling a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I think we have been since then in over 30 countries all over the world.
Right.
Uh,
Hold the thought, Lestari, because your dad has
ah,
answered. So
great.
let's pull that up here. Thank you so much, Mrs. Scholtes. Performing music changes your brain, he
Ah,
says. Enough scientific research has proven that.
yeah.
So it's not just Lestari and me saying this. This is a what is he? Neuroscientist?
Neurologist,
Neurologist.
neurologist. Yeah.
This is a neurologist talking, Mr. Scholtes, and he knows what he's saying. So thank you very much for, validating what we just had to say. I see other people are commenting. I see, let me see. Evelyn, I'm not quite sure you're saying, and one of your words is misspelled. I'm not going to pull that up because it's misspelled in a wrong way. So, and here is DJ Conscious with a question. What would be your dream venue and what would you choose to play? There you go. There you go, Lestari.
Yeah. Well, I have played in several of my dream venues. So
Name
it's
two.
of course, Carnegie Hall.
Carnegie.
I mean, it's very cliche, but it has such a history. I've played there several times, and you can feel the history there. The people that have played there are my big heroes. So yeah.
You know what? You can say it's a cliche, but for you, little girl from the Netherlands, Oosterhout, born in Nijmegen, and then you say, you know what? I played Carnegie Hall. No, that's a big thing.
Yes, yeah. It is. I am looking back at it with warm feelings and
And
proud,
pride.
of course. Yeah. Yes.
Do you remember what you played then?
Of course. Yes. Yeah.
Was it Mozart?
No, it was not. It was not Mozart. It was actually Rachmaninoff.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
That's a coincidence, really.
That's a coincidence. Yes, but he's also one of my absolute favorite composers. I mean, you cannot compare the both, but because I have such a history with Mozart, I chose Mozart. Yeah.
Yeah. And you said there were two of you. I asked you for two of those venues that you really wanted to play. What was the other one?
Well, the other most beautiful venue in the world is here in Amsterdam, the Concertgebouw. Yeah. Which many people, I mean, in the States, they are probably saying, I want to play in the Concertgebouw. And
well,
over here we're saying,
the acoustics are very, very good at the Concertgebouw in Amsterdam, aren't they?
Yeah. Yes.
So that must have been like a highlight in your life.
Yes, of course. It's always a highlight to play in such a beautiful hall where so many great musicians are performing. So yes, but also like smaller venues or even like outdoors or little churches. Every concert has its own special moments. It's
Because how I wonder if you come on stage, there's your piano, you're alone with your trio, which we will talk about later, or you with Willem for your duo. You need to build up this vibe, let's call it a vibe, with your audience. How do you do that? Do you just start playing and they're enthralled, or is there something you need to do for them to be ready to hear you?
I think it's really different for every musician. For me, I like to talk to the audience before I start playing or in between the pieces, because I feel more connected to them now. And then I feel more like it's a very human thing to be there,
right?
Because it can be very stressful to be on stage. I mean, you know it, of course. It's very it's exciting,
fun, but it's stressful. Exactly.
Yes. So try to make it like it's a human thing to do, to share music with other people. And if I talk to them and they somehow react, I feel like we are connected, and I try to use this in the performance.
Right. So let's talk about your successes with your piano duo with Willem Janssens.
Yeah.
Who is we were talking about him earlier. He's also a pianist, and the two of you play quatre mains, meaning four hands, and you do that either on one piano, which is hard, isn't it harder than playing on two pianos?
Actually, yes, you're actually one of the first persons that say it's harder. Most people say it's two pianos because it's so big, but it's harder to play four hands on one piano.
Yeah. Because sometimes you need to reach over your partner's hands, or they come underneath you. I remember that.
Yeah.
And then you need to, it's almost as if you need to breathe together, isn't it?
Oh, you do need to breathe. It's not almost, you do need to breathe together. We literally practice on some breathings together to make the right phrasing. Because playing piano duo, it's one of the most difficult things as it comes to playing chamber music, so playing music with other people, because the piano is the most direct instrument that you can have. I mean, with violin,
why is that?
when you push the key, you have a
There you got
sound,
the sound, right?
and
Yeah.
you cannot get out of it. And
Mm.
with woodwinds or with violin or cello, you can just float into it. So
You
if
can you can start wrong and then correct yourself. Is that what you're saying?
it's something like this, if it's not completely together, it somehow melts together. But
Ah,
with piano, if it's not together, it doesn't sound good. So you do need to breathe together and to practice a
exactly.
lot together. Yeah,
Yeah,
and to
yeah,
know each other really, really well.
right.
Yeah.
And on the right-hand picture, you're looking fabulous in your in your glamorous dress.
Thank
I
you.
believe is that Korean
Yes.
letters I'm seeing there?
Yes, it's Korean. Yes, you're absolutely right. This was the final concert of a big tour we did in Asia. I think we went to 7 countries in 3 weeks maybe.
How
And
look here. How do Lestari Scholtes and Willem Janssens end up doing a 7-country tour in Asia? I'm listening. I'm going to take a swig of water while you tell us that.
yes, well, we have always been really active in presenting ourselves to other countries, like other concert halls, festivals, doing competitions, which was also really, really stressful, but we learned a lot from it, and we got connections through it. I mean, this tour was organized by a competition that we won in Italy, and they had great connections all over Asia. So they sent us on this tour to all those countries, ending up in Korea.
So 7 countries. You must have gone to China because they are obsessed with classical music, and rightly so. Where did you go?
I think on this tour we went to Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, um, Japan, Malaysia, so Korea, and then I think it was Myanmar. So not
Yeah.
China. China we've been many times, but on other tours.
On other tours, you actually went
Yeah.
to Myanmar and played.
Yes.
How did Asians respond to you?
Well, we can also speak for Willem. We love to play there because classical music is such a big part of their culture, especially like in countries like Korea and Japan and China. It's
Ah,
like pop music there.
it
It's
is.
yeah. So it's very normal to go to concerts there. I mean, we've
Yeah.
been in China playing like we did a tour of 16 concerts all over China, and we played, every hall was for like at least 2,000 people up to 4 or 5,000 people. And
Really?
yes, and also young people, like children, like 4 or 5 years old, they just went to the concert, and
And
it
they
was
behave properly, not like Dutch children.
they were talking. I mean, it's also different in
Yeah,
China. It's not that you have to be all quiet. It's
you
as I said,
participate.
it's a pop concert there.
It's a pop
So
concert,
people
right?
talk softly. Sometimes they even are on the phone. But in general, they have a big heart for classical music, and
Yeah.
that's that I love very much. Yeah.
I remember I traveled through a little bit through parts of China, and I went to Taiwan, and every cab I got into, they were playing classical music. I've never had that happen here
Yeah.
in Europe.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and they're really proud of their own musicians as well, aren't they?
Yes,
Yeah,
they should be,
yeah.
because they have fantastic schools there, and
Mm,
yeah, great
yeah,
education.
great. What is this picture? Because you were mentioning Grachten Festival, which is that largest
Yeah.
classical festival in the Netherlands. When was this? What were you doing? Where was it?
Yeah, this is actually something that I'm quite proud of. It was last year here in Amsterdam in the Muziekgebouw, which is the second big concert hall here in Amsterdam, and it
Mhm.
was during the festival that Willem and I organized. It's the same festival as you also
Piano
participated
Duo
in.
Festival,
Piano
right?
Duo Festival
Mhm.
Amsterdam, yes.
Yeah.
And this was last year. It was the first time that we were presenting a concert in such a big hall. So it was something big for us. It was also our 10th anniversary as a festival. And we were playing the world premiere of a new piano concerto for 2 pianos and string orchestra. So
The world premiere.
yes, yeah, live on radio. So it was a really amazing feeling.
How did it go?
I think it went quite well. The composer was also there, and she liked it a lot. So
Oh
yeah,
wow! I'm really I got these goosebumps. I didn't I love the picture. I just didn't know it was such a
yeah,
fantastic story. And I noticed you got your orchestra behind you, your strings.
yes.
Who conducts while you play with all these people?
Yeah, well, usually with string orchestra, you don't have a conductor, like official conductor, standing in front of the orchestra.
Mm,
So now it's mostly the first piano, so me together with the first violinist,
yeah.
who is standing just after me, who
Hmm.
connect to each other, and she leads the orchestra, and I connect the duo to the orchestra.
Right. And I'm seeing different kinds of violins, and I'm
Yeah,
seeing cello. I'm seeing bass
bass as well. Yes, so violin, viola, cello, and bass.
and
Yeah.
two pianos, not to
Yeah.
forget.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was like a huge success, from what I
Yeah,
hear now.
it was something that we really worked like 10 years to have this big concert, because we started so small with the festival, doing everything ourselves, even like getting the coffee or getting the artist from the airport, rehearsing, getting tickets from the audience, up to this moment, like 10 years later, when we had this big premiere in a big hall with
Wow.
amazing colleague musicians on
Yeah.
stage. Yeah.
Fantastic. Talk about big halls. You also send me this picture. Where on
Yes,
earth is this? It looks like Paradiso, but it isn't, is it?
it is
It
Paradiso.
is it
Yeah.
I didn't know Paradiso had this vaulted ceiling. I never noticed that.
Yeah, it's something that you never really notice because it's always really dark there.
Yeah.
And
So Paradiso is usually a pop temple where
yeah,
pop music gets played, but it's full up and it's you on stage.
yes, it was a sold out concert during the Grachten Festival, actually. I was
Yeah.
still working there as a programmer, but I also played this concert myself together with Willem and three fantastic singers and percussionist and choir. And we played
Mhm.
the Carmina Burana by Carl
Yeah.
Orff.
By Carl Orff, yes.
Yeah. And
Which everybody knows. Even people who don't know classical music, you know it,
yeah,
even if you don't
yeah.
know it's Carl Orff. Yeah.
Yes,
Or what it's
yes,
called.
you everybody knows it. And
Exactly.
I programmed it here because the Carmina Burana, it's the pop music of the classical
Of
music.
classical music.
So
Yes.
I thought it would be great together, this piece in
Right.
the pop temple of Amsterdam.
I don't know if you know it, Lestari, but recently I've taken up I'm the substitute presenter of
I know.
classical radio in the Netherlands. I am gonna tell my people to play your music. I want to know what it sounds like now.
Great.
Um,
Yeah, I've
yeah.
been listening to you several times on the
Oh,
radio.
have
Yeah,
you?
I do really enjoy it. Yes, I
Please.
hope you are coming there more often.
Well, I enjoy doing it, so please. They promised me they're gonna ask me more often. I can't do
Good.
it every day because I got other stuff to do,
Of course,
but
yeah.
being the substitute is really wonderful. Let's move on with the pictures because time is flying. Lestari is flying. I see you traveling globally with
Yeah.
Willem. What is
Yes.
this all about?
Yes, I sent these pictures because this tour was, I think, most special to me. This was in
Hmm.
Ethiopia in
Both of the
Africa.
pictures?
Yes,
Both
both of the
pictures?
yes,
Hmm.
both pictures. It was a tour. Well, it was only in the tour. It was only to Ethiopia, but it was the first time that there was a four hands like pianadora recital in the history of Ethiopia.
And that
Because
was
of
you.
Yeah, so it was very special. The hall was packed. I mean, the concert was really special, but just to be there and to get to know a little bit of the culture,
Hmm.
it's so intriguing. People were so nice and so interested and so sweet. And we also gave master classes at the conservatory there, which is totally different than here, of course, because people start to play at 18 after the high school, and then go to the conservatory. So they are years behind, but they're really musical. So
But
they
can
do.
you actually start play start
Uh,
learning how to play piano when you're 18? Don't you need to be younger to start?
I think it's of course preferred to start at a very young age, and that's why also the level there was much lower. but their ears are really good because they need to play many things on the ear and not by the notes, because they also have to learn a note still.
Exactly.
And but what I also loved is they also have their completely own kind of music, like the ETO jazz, which is fascinating kind of jazz, like very rhythmical, very melodic. Also, we've been also to parties there, and we have been really embraced by the people there. So
Oh,
yeah,
lovely.
I have a very good memories of this tour.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's on my wish list to go to Ethiopia one
yeah,
day because so much happens or
yeah,
started in Ethiopia. Not
yeah.
classical music, maybe, but so much of culture started in
Definitely.
Ethiopia,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so that was a lovely travel you did with Gwilym. You've also done, as you mentioned, way at the beginning of the program, you've done some traveling of your own. I don't know if Gwilym was with you. I think probably not, because this was like a personal quest of yours, I think, to go to
Ah,
Indonesia.
this actually Gwilym was with me here.
Was he? Mm.
We have traveled so much together. I mean, I have been to Indonesia also with my parents and one time by myself. But I've been a couple of times on tour there, and and this was yeah, this was on a tour with Willem, and we always try to combine it with, getting to know the country and the culture a bit more. And it was my first time to visit the Borobudur also, which is a very special moment. It's very impressive, and
Hmm.
such a history there. So it was at the very beginning of the tour, so it gave me lots of inspiration for the rest. And
Excellent.
then the picture on the left is actually in Cambodia.
Ah, I'm sorry, I
Um,
misunderstood that. Yes. Hmm.
which is, yeah, it looks a little bit similar.
It does. Yeah.
Yes, and this was I sometimes my brain stops working, but it's the very famous temple in Cambodia in the north.
Is it
Angkor
Angkor?
Wat, Angkor Wat,
Yes.
Angkor Wat.
Yes.
Yes, thank you
Hmm.
so much. Yeah,
Hmm.
and this was at the end of a tour. We booked, Willem booked a few extra days for my birthday because I was having my birthday. And he said, okay, this is the fifth time we have played in Cambodia. Now we are going to see Angkor Wat.
Wow.
So, yeah, so this
Oh,
was
that's
his
really,
birthday
really
present.
sweet of him. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Going back to Indonesia for just a little bit, because we started with you telling me it's part of who you are, even though you were born in the Netherlands, you grew up in the Netherlands, you grew up Dutch. Does going to Indonesia actually awaken some kind of home feeling in you? I'm just asking.
Um, maybe somewhere it does. I mean, I think, like, as a child, I was never really aware of the fact that I had this connection. I was 16 when I went to Indonesia for the first time.
Mhm.
And as more often I came there, I was more aware of the fact that this is like 50% of my blood that's
And
coming from there.
what is it that made you realize that?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's just like it's more the feeling that you have a connection to the people, than and also it was creating for me awareness that maybe things that I was missing here in the Netherlands are maybe there.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do, but I want you to explain what you mean. Can you describe one of those things that made you think, "Whoa, I never knew I missed that being in the Netherlands, and now I'm here and I'm finding it."
Yeah, for example, when I went there by my own, I went to visit my uncle and aunt who live in Jakarta, and they took me everywhere. They're really, really, really sweet, and they took me to like the second and the third cousin, and and then we went there, and it was like food, and everybody was nice, and I felt like very, very welcome, very much at home. And in the Netherlands, it's sometimes like you really have to make an appointment. And
For 3 months
yes,
onwards.
yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So it's just these cultural differences. It's not that it's bad in the Netherlands. It's just
No,
different.
it's just different.
Yeah,
And you found out being there that different things are part of you and make
yes,
you feel a certain way, a good way.
yes, yeah,
I can
yeah,
understand.
yeah,
I can totally relate to that. So
yeah.
I understand that. Tell us quickly about this fantastic picture.
This was when I was 16. I went with my parents to Bali.
Hmm.
The first time I was in Indonesia, and as I said at the beginning of this broadcast, I used to dance a lot,
Yeah.
and I wanted to try the Balinese style of dancing.
Right.
So you could, I think it was somewhere in a village or maybe at a hotel. You could follow this workshop, Balinese dancing, and then you get this
Were you any
beautiful
good
clothes.
at it? Were
Uh, I don't think I was very good at it. It's so different than the classical ballet I was used to.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's extremely refined. Extremely.
Yeah.
I mean, classical ballet, it's refined, but this is just only with the fingers and everything. Every movement has a exactly.
Yes.
You are good at it. Yes.
Well, I
Yeah.
practiced. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, everything has a meaning. Every little movement, and
Right.
that's also beautiful.
Did your dexterity as a pianist help you out with those movements?
Actually, no, because
No.
you have my flexibility is going downwards as a pianist. Also,
Yeah.
like my arms are actually, if I wouldn't be a pianist, this would have been much thinner. But it's the muscles are big, and also this is strong, and to become a dancer in Indonesia, it has to be very light and very flexible,
Ah,
also going up. So
right. Yeah, like
unfortunately,
my fingers do.
exactly, yeah, you have perfect
Yours
fingers.
do this.
They do.
And
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I got a little wrist, but uh oh, but so that's still you. It looks fantastic on you. Let me put it up again. You look like a goddess there, which you are, of
Thanks.
course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's one thing I want to ask you because I let's just move on in the show. I was reading up on you, of course, and I came across one of your quotes which really intrigued me. You said, "Music is perpetual learning and finding your way." What did you mean by that?
I wonder when I said this.
It's a couple of years ago in an interview I read that you gave, and you said muziek is constant leren en je weg
Yeah,
vinden. Yes.
yeah. I think yeah. It's funny that it's not funny, but I can relate more that I said it a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
Of course, when you study music, you go to the conservatory, and afterwards you find maybe some master classes. But for me, I found out, especially in my 30s, I just turned to 39,
Yes.
that I needed so much more to learn,
Hmm.
because I was always very focused. I practiced a lot. I played piano duo, and it always had to be like good and solid. And then here in Amsterdam, I found out, because of my friends, something was still missing. And for some people it comes like when they're 20, but for me it came later. So the way of learning in the musical world, it's endless. Still,
Right.
I have a long way to go. I can learn until I die. um, but for me, the 30s, and that's why I said this a couple of years ago, were especially important, because I'm
Mhm.
really different musician than I was
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you pinpoint that difference? Is it about how you perceive yourself, or is it how the
Yes.
world perceives you? What is it?
I think it has to do with knowing yourself better, also. And this also came from me in my 30s more. Also, when I really got close with my now husband, and also learning from other musicians, playing a lot with other
Yeah.
musicians,
Yeah.
and learning from their experiences, not only in music but also in life. Everything
Exactly.
is
Yes.
such a human thing.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Lovely. Evelyn, who commented earlier but was making typos, so I didn't know what she was saying. She was actually saying, "I love finding a new beautiful artist," and thank you for
Uh,
this in-depth introduction. Yes, Evelyn, I know you love your classical music. Just look up Lestari, and you'll find a lot of stuff. Excuse me. I'm in this air-conditioned room. I don't like
yeah.
echo. You were saying that there is so much that you learn from your husband. Let's talk about your very, what's the word? Dashing husband.
Dashing, yes.
Violin playing player Eduardo Paredes Crespo. I thought he might be Portuguese. You're telling me he's Brazilian. How did this happen?
Yes, it's a very funny and nice story. We met over 10 years ago when we are both touring in South America. We were both in Bolivia, and he was actually already living in the Netherlands, but he went back to his home, one of his home countries, because he's half Bolivian, half
He's
Brazilian.
both, right?
He's both, yes.
Mhm.
And then at that time, there was still an embassy in a Dutch embassy in Bolivia, and they said, "Okay, we have more musicians that are studying in the Netherlands. They're coming here, so let's put all of you together to play a
Really?
concert."
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was touring there with his friend, amazing cellist, and I was touring,
Was
of
that
course.
with Leonard Bessling that he was there? Yes. So
No,
we got
it was another cellist.
another
Yeah,
cellist. Yes.
Willem
Hmm.
Willem Stam, and I was there with Willem. So we met, and we played a concert together, which was a lot of fun.
How can
And
you play a concert together? I mean, don't you need to practice for ages to play together?
yeah, in a lot of cases you do, but now we had, I think, 15 minutes rehearsal, and then we had a concert. So it was also a challenge.
God, you're
But
kidding
it
me.
went well, and we became friends. And actually, I ended up dating the cellist.
Oh, you
Uh,
did.
yes.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah, but
I never read that in any of your interviews. That's a Poca TV
yes.
premiere. Yeah.
And he's and we are still friends, and he's very nice. It was only like 5 or 6 months,
Yeah.
but I was there a lot, and he lived together with Eduardo in the same house,
And
so we
Eduardo
became.
was making eyes at you, was he?
He liked me, but he had somebody at that time, so we just became friends. And when he moved to Amsterdam, we started playing a lot together, and then yeah, well, we found each other in
Oh,
love.
what a lovely story.
Yeah.
And in came Leonard Bessling, who's the third person, the one in the light gray jacket,
Yeah,
another cellist of fame here in the Netherlands. And together you created Trio 258.
258. Yes. Yeah.
Why
It's
that name, and what is it all about?
it's referring to the Keizersgracht, which was one of the famous streets at the canals here in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Number 258. There's a friend of us who's living there, and he has a grand piano, and we had our first rehearsals there just as friends.
Mm,
We didn't were a fixed trio yet,
yeah.
and we really connected. And then we said, let's start this. Let's just really do it. Let's go for this piano trio. And there is also the case that on the first floor of the same building, there's a violin maker, which is the father of Leonard, and he built Leonard's cello.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so we have a special connection with
You
this
do.
Keizersgracht 258.
So how long have you been doing a Trio 258?
I think now 7 years, almost 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do that, you still do your piano duo with Willem, and you got
Yes.
your Trio 258.
Yes.
And there's one thing that you did that was very special. I saw that on television, and actually you sent it to me, but it's I don't know if people remember, there was this guy called Felix Baumgartner
Yes.
who went way out into space and tried to break. He broke a couple of records of the highest jump is what he did. I don't think he did the longest jump. He wanted to be the longest without oxygen. I think he didn't make that, but he made the longest jump. And then you, in this television program, put his landing to music. So I took a little bit of Felix Baumgartner's Jump, and I added the part that you sent me. So let's have a look at that, shall we? Yeah.
Start the cameras, and our guardian angel will take care of you.
I'm going over.
Jumper away.
Showing Felix in a stable descent.
There's the chute. There's the chute.
Wow. I don't know what else to say. Wow.
Yeah, every time I watch this video of Baumgartner making Jump, I get goosebumps. Like, it's
I'm here
so
with my-
exciting. Yeah.
I know, because what was this live? What was he? Was that actual live video of him coming back to Earth?
Yes. Yeah.
So how did you know what to play?
Oh no, it was not. We didn't play live on his. No.
But they sent you the video and you made music to it. No.
Yes. There's this composer, Turkish composer Fazil Say, and he saw this Jump by Baumgartner, and he was really impressed. And he said, "Okay, I'm gonna write something to this Jump." So he wrote this piece, which is called Space Jump. It's very great music.
That's right.
And
That's what
and
it's.
he and he also gives like advices in the score, like, okay, here Felix loses his conscience, so it's kind of wobbly, and here his parachutes open, so it's very floating. So yeah, but it was live television.
That's
I mean,
right.
it was not. Yeah, it was live television, so it was very a bit scary and exciting to play this, because everything has to be synchronized with
what's happening on screen.
What's happening? Yeah, and then you only have one rehearsal, so yeah, it was but he won one. It was great to do.
It did, because when he landed, we hear you go on your piano. Oh, but it must be at times that your heart is pounding in your throat because it's live. You can't correct mistakes when it's live.
No, but I think at such a moment you're so focused on the music and also now on the screen on what's happening that the stress somehow it's not taking the overhand or something.
Right.
It's so that's a good thing.
And I guess you learn to deal with stress and maybe even
Yeah.
put it to good use
Yes.
in your
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
like every musician has this period where he or she cannot put it to good use. And you have to go through that, and
Yeah.
it's not fun.
No.
It's really it's not nice,
No.
but it has to happen with most of the musicians. So and I also went through it, and I learned a lot from it. And now, of course, I get nervous, and of course, it's stressful. Uh, but I also enjoy it a lot
And
more than I used to.
I guess maybe you learned how to deal with the stress, and maybe even I'm coming from my own kind of work, learning that the stress did not kill you, did not make you
Yes.
underperform, kind of empowers you and makes you
Yeah.
more secure within yourself.
Yes, you really have to believe in yourself and in your fellow musicians on stage if you're with them on stage.
Mhm.
And indeed, it's all relative. If you make a mistake or you lose it one time, it's people forgive you, or they don't
Yeah.
notice, or they think, oh, it's very human. So
Yeah.
it's not that bad.
Mhm.
But of course, you always want to perform at your very best, and
Of
it's
course you do, and you need to want to do that. Otherwise, you start slacking. So you
yeah,
need to want
yeah,
to be on your very very best behavior
yes,
every time you go. But you got good nights and you got bad nights. That's just how it is, right?
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, you've touched on motherhood a couple of times, so let's go there. There, suddenly we see Lestari, big belly, as we say in Jamaica.
Yeah.
When tell us when this happened, and tell us a little bit about your gorgeous little boy.
Yeah. Well, I got pregnant in the beginning of 2020, just before the
Before
first,
COVID.
just
Yeah.
before the first lockdown.
Mm,
So our son was born in the middle of one of the lockdowns,
mm,
which was also very strange, of course. But it also gave us a lot of space and rest to really focus on being new parents.
yeah,
And now Nathaniel, his name is Nathaniel.
Daniel. Yes.
He turns 3 in October,
Oh,
and yeah, he's a great delight.
is
He's
he? Yeah.
yeah,
I,
he's very very sweet, and
I
yeah,
love the
very
little piano on that picture.
yeah.
It's like the two of you are just putting the music into Nathaniel. Pull it on Nathaniel. You need to love music.
Well, we didn't have to put it into
No,
him. He loves music. I mean,
well, I've got proof of that. Look at little
yes,
Nathaniel there.
yes, he's really a very natural talent, and we have to see if he wants to become a musician. If he does, we will of course guide him in the best way possible, because it's getting
Yes.
more difficult
I
every
do
year.
notice that he's taking after Daddy with his violin. What's that about? Aren't you gonna put him behind the piano?
I tried, but he really loves the violin and cello. So
Oh,
he's going for the string instruments.
strings.
Yeah,
Yes.
and he loves like Mozart as well, because he when I was pregnant I recorded a Mozart CD, so he listened to it a lot when he was in my
Yeah.
belly, and still he loves it. And
And
that's right.
does he recognize the music? Like
Yes,
you put on a record or a CD or whatever, Spotify, I don't know what your source is. Does he
yeah,
then go, "Yay, Mozart," or does he go,
yes.
I know the tune? Would it-
No, he really recognized the composer. Yeah,
Really?
yes, and he's even it goes to this point that he can even sing along with like almost the full movement of a Mozart symphony. And he asked also, now I want to listen to Chopin or Tchaikovsky.
You must be
And
so proud.
yes, it's really very touching to see, because we really don't want to put it on him, but
Right.
he loves it, and he asks all the time, can I play on my violin, can I play on my violin, can I listen to Mozart, yeah,
Oh, and then he
yeah,
goes play with I don't know what Nijntje is. Nijntje is
me,
A
yeah,
Dutch.
it's
What do you call
Miffy,
it? Miffy,
Miffy,
Miffy.
yeah,
So, but it's Dutch people. It's Nijntje.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Nijntje teaches him how to play,
yeah.
and he follows.
Yes, yeah.
How is his touch on the strings?
It's amazing. I mean, my
Really?
husband also says that he's extremely talented for violin.
Lestari,
So
he's 3 years old. How can that
yeah,
be?
yeah. Well, it happens, and we'll see where it goes. And maybe he
Yeah.
wants to become a soccer player. That's also fine,
Maybe he
or
wants to
something.
become I don't know, notary public.
Yes.
Don't think so,
Well,
but you never know.
yeah, you never know. We'll
Yeah,
see where it goes, but for now, we just let him enjoy the music, and we take him
exactly.
to concerts,
Yeah,
and yeah, we just have
yeah.
fun. Yeah,
On the left-hand picture, we see what comes up next because that is one of the baby concerts that you
yeah,
organize.
yeah,
Look at you there. I highlighted you with your mask on and your pretty princess skirt play, and that's your husband and the cellist playing,
yeah,
and a room full of parents with babies. Tell us
yeah.
about this.
Well, this was also inspired by Nathaniel, by our son, because I was thinking, like, what can you do, like, with as young parents for your young children to, get them acquainted with classical music.
Mm.
So I thought, oh, let's come up with a concert where they can all enjoy classical music.
So
Uh,
so that can be compared maybe a little bit to what we did all those years
yes,
ago, right?
exactly. Yeah.
How long does a concert like this take? How long is it?
It's 30 minutes, up to 35 minutes. And
Yeah.
then parents can afterwards stay to play with the little toy piano. And the kids can play with the little toy piano, not the parents.
And but
Um,
what is it you play for them? Because
yeah,
these are little children, these are babies. What do
yes.
you
Well,
play?
we really chose for good classical pieces like Mozart, of course, and also Grieg and Schumann, like short pieces, no longer than 3 minutes,
Hmm.
but very like by the best composers
Yeah.
and beautiful chamber music. There's also a singer, and she also, she has
Right.
the ability to move, to make
Opera?
contact with
Does
the
she sing
babies.
opera?
Yes, opera
Yes.
singer. Yeah, yeah, Kirila
So
Kraal, she's amazing, and yeah, it's a beautiful thing to do because you really
wonderful.
notice that the babies, they react to classical
Yeah.
music really well.
Yeah.
Um,
Do they get bored? I mean, these days children are bored so quickly. All they want is to play on their little iPad. Do they get bored?
I mean, they can be. It's also, of course, possible that a kid doesn't connect with classical music, but most of them, they really like it. We have this beautiful cello solo in the middle of the concert, which is also from the Carnival of the Animals that we did
Hmm.
together. The
Hmm.
Swan. This is three
Ah,
minutes cello solo, and some of the kids, they just sit in front of the cello and they are amazed by this beautiful sound.
because
And
it's so warm and it's so
yes,
it's a lovely sound, the cello.
yes,
It's yeah,
yes.
it's
It's
like a
very
hug.
warm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a hug indeed. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also always tell the parents, don't feel stressed that your baby is not quiet. I mean, everything can happen. They can crawl, they can cry, or they can laugh, or they can clap.
Hmm.
So they really have to feel comfortable. It has to be nice for the little babies, but also for the parents. So
Exactly. Well, I'm going to show just a tiny little bit of your baby concert in just a little minute, Lestari. But before I do that, let me tell my the viewers that the plan is. I think I got half a yes about this. The plan is for the next Poca TV live program to be on where's my thingy? It's right here on September the 29th at 6 o'clock Central European Time. And the plan is to have as my special guest historian and activist Janne Henriques from Curacao, whom I met during my recent travels to the island, who puts into perspective mostly the struggle, but also the fight and the resistance of the enslaved people in the former Dutch colonies. We always think about enslaved people as being people who just took it, lying down and did not resist. Well, Janne Henriques is here to tell us differently. She did say yes. I need the confirmation, but let's make this happen on September the 29th. Jana Enriquez in Curacao. I would be thrilled if she were to be my guest then. Would that in any way interest you, that program, Lestari?
Yes, definitely. I'm really gonna. I mean, I watched a few of the episodes, and I'm gonna follow you, of course, more, and maybe leave some comments next time
That would be
saying
so sweet.
hi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're nearing the end of the program. Is there anything you would like to share that I didn't ask, or that just didn't come up?
I think we talked about about really a lot. I'm just really happy to talk to you again and to catch up with you. And we should think of doing something together again, because
We
it
should.
was so nice.
Yes,
Uh,
we should.
yeah.
Yeah, I would really, really enjoy that. And now that I'm this classical music
Yeah.
presenter on the radio, we should get people to sponsor a thing. Let's go travel somewhere, let's
Yes.
study. And I'll be your presenter, and I'll do whatever
Yes.
you want me to do. And
Sounds
that would
amazing.
that sounds like a wonderful plan. So I really enjoyed talking to you, and hearing
Thank you
from
so
your
much.
own mouth, not just reading the emails, how well you are doing and how happy you are with your little family and with your career. It's wonderful, and we will definitely pick this up. I got another last comment coming in from Suriname, Terza, saying it's a beautiful interview. Thank you for watching,
Thank
Terza.
you.
Lovely, lovely. So we'll be in touch, Lestari. We got each
We
other's
will.
WhatsApp.
Yes. Yeah.
And remember, anytime you feel, you can just share this video with your people in Asia, with your people in South America, wherever you want.
Will
Just send
do.
them the link, all right? Take care of yourself,
Take care.
and say hi to Gwilym, to your
I will.
parents, to your husband, to your lovely little Nathaniel. It's been
Thank you so
wonderful
much.
talking. Thank
It
you,
was.
Lestari.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
Yolande.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye. Bye bye bye. So that's Lestari Scholtes. I was thrilled to talk to her. And we're done now. And a last comment from Tirza saying that classical music for children in Suriname as well. Yes, we should take care of that, Tirza. That's going to be a wonderful thing to do. I'm going to leave you, as I said, with a tiny little bit of one of those baby concerts that Lestari does together with her husband and Leonard, and probably sometimes still with Willem. It's the baby concert. It's Mozart. That's how we're going to play out today. And remember, the next Poca TV Live, whether it is with Jana Henriquez or something else, the date is set. That will be on the last Friday of September, being the 29th. So I'll see you then, hopefully. Until such time, be good, be nice, stay safe, and take care of each other. All right? Bye bye, everybody. Bye.